Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Guess what? I've made a tag, a very special tag. It's called the 90s Kids tag, and it is for anyone who grew up in the 90s. Be you a younger kid, be you in middle school, be you a teenager. If you grew up in the better part of the 90s, I think this is a tag for you. It's all surrounding nostalgia of the 90s. And if you're watching this and you grew up then and want to take part, feel free, by all means, take part. I will be tagging people at the end, but if you do want to take part, just maybe if you're on Twitter, tag me and I'll put it in the playlist. So the first of my questions is, what is your favorite movie that came out in the 90s? For me, there is only one answer. It was the summer of 1993. I had just turned 9, and my sister took me to see an absolute literal monster hit, Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park. I adored dinosaurs at the time, but this movie truly sealed my fate. I had to queue for ages with my sister, but let me tell you, the wait was worth it, because when I went in, I was sucked in to a world of chills, adventure, and dinosaurs. Steven Spielberg done an absolutely amazing job fleshing out Michael Crichton's story and making something a bit more accessible to a younger audience. It had a great cast. You had Sam Neill, you had Jeff Goldblum, you had Laura Dern. You had fantastic practical effects by the then master, the late great Stan Winston. And that T-Rex, the T-Rex in that movie stole the fucking show. I absolutely adore that movie. And Jurassic Park is not only one of my favorite movies from the 90s, it is one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, has to be for me, Jurassic Park. So the next question is favorite TV show. So after a while, I kind of grew out of dinosaurs, just a wee bit. Still had a soft spot for them, but as I got that bit older, a TV show came on the air, and it was creepy, it was strange, and it had two FBI agents dealing with monsters, aliens, cults, and psychos every week, and it was called The X-Files. It was created by Chris Carter. It starred David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, and it was so freaky. It scared the ever living shit out of me, out of me. It scared the ever living shit out of me. But yeah, it kicked arse. And I remember one episode in particular with Eugene Toombs called Squeeze, where you had this guy who could go in through air vents and through small cracks in windows, and he ate people's livers. And I remember, okay, this show terrifies me, but I absolutely adore this show. And it didn't hurt either that Gillian Anderson was a bit of a fox. I had a major crush on Gillian Anderson growing up. So yeah, has to be for me. Favorite TV show from the 90s, The X Files. It was one of the few shows my folks let me stay up and watch late on a school night. Next question. Favorite band and album. I'm lucky in that my brother had a very eclectic kind of love of music, and being in a small town in Ireland, there was in the 90s a lot of people kind of listened to kind of disco and house music and stuff. But my brother, he had a bit more of an eclectic kind of vibe, and he got me into grunge, and he gave me a lend of my favorite album by an awesome band, Nirvana. Everyone knows who Nirvana is. Everyone knows about the tragic yet amazing Kurt Cobain, and he gave me a lend of their album called Incesticide. Probably my two favorite tracks on that album had to be Molly's Lips and Dive. And there was something about Cobain's voice, how gravelly it was, how raw it was. And even at a young age, I was like, this guy has he has an awesome way of singing. And the sad thing about Incesticide is, I think it gets overshadowed by a lot of other albums like Breed. Everyone thinks about Breed or other albums, but no one ever brings up Incesticide. So for me, my favorite 90s album was Nirvana, Incesticide. Again, like there was other albums that came out, but this is one I think everyone should listen to. And it was a bit after it came out that my brother let me listen to it. So next question is favorite cartoon. What is your favorite cartoon growing up in the 90s? For me, I would probably have to go with a comic book based cartoon called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Again, I was still in the dinosaurs phase, and it was based on a comic called Xenionic Tales that was set in the future where dinosaurs had come back, and it centered around Jack Tenrek trying to protect both the citizens of the last free city and the dinosaurs from killing each other. And it was pretty cool. It had an absolute bombing fucking soundtrack and a wicked intro, and the animation was pretty cool for the time. So yeah, favorite cartoon from the 90s has to be Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Next question. Favorite snack food you can no longer get has to be Crunchos. Crunchos were these quote unquote American style snacks, corn snacks that were hot dog flavored. They were 12p and they tasted really, really nice. You can't get them anymore. And they were probably loaded with fucking E's and GMC or genetically modified stuff to make them taste so nice. But yeah, they were so fucking tasty and I miss them so much. Like, they've brought back a lot of crisps, but Crunchos, no. So obviously there was something in them that was probably fucking making kids violently obese. Next question. Favorite fad from the 90s? A lot of fads came out in the 90s. You had things like Tamagotchis and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, that came out in the 90s, or maybe that was the early 2000s. But one thing I adored, and I don't have them anymore, and I absolutely regret losing all of them, were Pogs. Now, I know they're making a comeback, but I'm talking about the old Pogs with the silver slammers and stuff. You could get so many cool kind of Pogs and slammers from different movies, from different licenses. You could get Jurassic Park Pogs. You could get Star Wars Pogs, Waterworld Pogs. I remember my cousin had some Waterworld Pogs. And yeah, it was just cool. It was like a more, I don't know, quote unquote, modern version of marbles where you'd stack them and you'd get the slammer. And I think whichever were facing down, you you got to keep. So yeah, Pogs was awesome. That was one fad that maybe it'll come back. Who knows? You know, the 90s are making a comeback. And last question is one thing you miss from the 90s that does not seem to be around anymore. Um, One thing I miss from the 90s. What's the one thing I miss from the 90s? Now, I don't know if this is the case in other countries, but for some reason, you don't get toys or you don't get prizes in cereal anymore. Over here, anyway, you don't. I remember getting little Spider Man figures in Honey Nut Cheerios, and I also remember getting the Jurassic Park holographic kind of. There were these little holographic pictures inside in dinosaur sculptures, and I remember thinking they were cool. They were from the Lost World, and I have a couple of them. I might I might put a picture of them up here, but yeah, they don't really do kind of stuff in cereal anymore. Now maybe it's kind of maybe it's their way of trying to go, hey, look, we're not trying to entice kids towards sugary cereal. Maybe they kind of got a bit of a slap on the wrist. But in Ireland and in certain parts of Europe, I know you cannot get prizes in cereal anymore. I wish they'd bring that back. So that's one thing I miss from the 90s. Maybe it's different where you are. Maybe you can still get prizes in cereal. But yeah, what's the one thing you miss from the 90s? So yeah, they were my questions. The people I'm going to tag are the absolutely gorgeous and fantastic Jen's Reviews from the Grave, the awesome Cara from Horror Retrospective, Sean Erskine, Lady Sasha, Deacon, Bronco Juggalo, Ethel, and Collector Man. I am tagging all you guys in my 90s Kids tag, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, if you want to take part again, let me know. Just hit me up on Twitter, and I'll add your tag to the playlist. So yeah, I hope you have fun in doing this, and yeah, my name's Trash Picture Show. Have a good one. Take care. Bye now.